Cool little thing about me, I was a Boy Scout for about 4 years. It wasn't cool because I was the worst Boy Scout ever. I sucked. I somehow managed to become a patrol leader for most of my time there. For you non-Boy Scouts, a patrol leader is a leader to a group inside the troop, and there were multiple groups, aka patrols. And I somehow became first class rank. I should have been like goddamn tenderfoot because I sucked. Quickly, tie a square knot. What's a knot? Man, I'm gonna wrap this rope around it a few times, tuck it through, and call it a day. Like, I don't know what these knots are. Who do you think I am, the Flying Dutchman? Like, I can tie a monkey knot? No, I can't do any of that. Well, we also went on camping trips once a month, and during one of these camping trips, me and my stupid friends learned that dead palm fronds were very flammable. So we thought, what if we put 100 of those into the fire? And that's exactly what we did. We went around for about an hour collecting as many dead palm fronds as possible. And, you know, the troop leaders start getting suspicious. They're like, hey, boys, what are you doing here with all these dead palm fronds? Well, you know, we're building a fort, an awesome fort. We're going to name it Fort Flammable. Fort Flammable? That sounds dangerous. Like, no, don't worry about it. So, you know, we start collecting them. It's getting dark. Everyone's chilling by the fire, making s'mores. There's a kid reading a book in his comfortable chair. And we come over and just dump them all in. Everyone's like, ah! They start running away. They're running for their lives, you know. Like we're in Hawaii and alarms are going off. Everyone's fleeing. It was really scary. Then there's this kid reading a book. He's not moving. He's too busy reading his book. And the wind starts blowing this giant fire that's like 8 feet tall towards him. He looks up, sees the fire like circling him. He's like, Mayday! Mayday! Abandoned ship! And he was screaming, Mayday, Mayday, abandoned ship. I'm not even making that up. He was screaming, Mayday, Mayday, abandoned ship. But Mayday, Mayday, you need to get up. Everyone's screaming like, stand up, stand up. He has like an entire cheer team up next to him screaming for him to get up. He's just sitting there screaming. So we look around, we're dying, laughing. We can barely move until we realize this kid's about to get turned into bacon. So we run into the forest. We don't know shit. Like I told you, I'm a horrible Boy Scout. We grab this thing called monkey's fur, which is like moss. And when monkey's fur burns, it turns to smoke. A lot of smoke. Now, it smushes the fire, gets rid of it completely. But, you know, turns to smoke. We didn't know that. We took it, we threw as much of it in the fire as we could. Because in our minds, there were two outcomes that could happen. This is going to kill the fire, or turn this kid into Porky Pig. So let's hope for the best. We threw it in. And, you know, it starts smothering the fire, and it looks like Genie from Aladdin's about to show up. All this smoke starts rising up. We and my friend look at each other like, what did we just do? 2 seconds later, it looks like the end of 9/11, just smoke conquering the entire campsite. Everyone's screaming and freaking out. Everyone's eyes start burning. It's like, help me, help me! That kid's still screaming, where am I? And then our troop leader, you just hear him faintly, boys, boys, like fighting his way through the fire, trying to find us. Comes over like, what were you thinking? We're gonna get fined. We're gonna kill all the animals. And then 5 seconds later, there's like a bunch of high beams shooting through. Every camp official in the world is arriving on set, like golf carts, tractors, you name it. They're like, what's going on over here? Like, we don't know. We look like we've just sent an SOS from like a deserted island. You'd expect like helicopters to show up, but no. The campsite cleared in like 2 hours, and everyone went on with their business, going to bed and whatnot. That one kid who was reading the book was like, you gentlemen are crazy, you nearly killed me, and then went right to his tent and continued reading his book. Me and my friend went to our barely stable tent, looked like something that was straight out of Angry Birds, and we started dying laughing. That was the funniest shit we've ever done. Probably not in anyone else's book, but in our book, it was. So, moral of the story, you know, don't try to explode campsites, or smoke anyone out, or, you know, just don't be a Boy Scout.
Some days I'm like, fuck spitting, nah, just kidding. I'm always crashing like my phone, cause it's bug ridden. I'm just living, wishing I could better be. Fuck tripping on the past, I'ma let it be. 1 minute, I'm singing in the rain shower. Next minute, I'm surrounded by my Mayflowers. It don't take hours, it's like a roller coaster. Up and down, bump around, then the show is over.